Hello folks, welcome to Legacy IAS. In today's video, we'll be looking into the administration part of your slave dynasty. Alright, now when we say administration, alright, now we've also discussed in the political part of the slave dynasty, we had almost 3 dynasties within your slave dynasty itself. What were those? For example, Qutubidi dynasty, first Ilbari dynasty, second Ilbari dynasty. We bought dynasties within dynasty only because there was differences in the way that they held the administration itself. Right? Now we will see how unique is their perspective with respect to administration and how is it having a commonality with respect to your Delhi Sultanate. Alright? Now the first one I will discuss is the administration with respect to Iltutmish. Okay, see the empire, large number of empire was divided into something called as Iktas. This was looked after by your Iqtadar. Now understand this. First, to know the administration, we'll see what were they kind of people. See, firstly, your Ilbari dynasty, Qutubi dynasty or Ilbari second dynasty or basically any of the kings under your slave dynasty, we call the name itself a slave dynasty. In the political part we have discussed, if we are telling slave, two versions of slaves were there. One were the slaves who were for a military perspective and one was for domestic chores and all. Right now, these are the ones we're talking about military perspective. Now when we say military perspective, all right, their background itself is a military hierarchy. Alright, now if they have to maintain a huge amount of army, then they need to give cash, then they need to give food, then they need people to survive and all those things to sustain them. Is how would they do that? Now instead of cash, they would rather give a particular piece of land. Let's assume this Ikta. Now, if they would give to a particular person this Ikta or this land, doesn't mean that this particular land is their ownership. Understanding? It is just part of it would be taken by the Iqtadar. Whatever is needed for salary, cash paying or basically the revenue generated after distributing with the slaves or with the military personnel, army and then maintaining for himself, whatever is there, he had to give it back to the king. Alright. Now, this Iqta was not permanent. It did not, one most important thing you have to know is, it did not confer ownership. Iqtas did not confer ownership, rather it was more of temporary nature and it was also transferable. It was both temporary as well as transferable and this did not mean any ownership of the land. The empire was divided into Iqtas. Iqtas were looked after by Iqtadar who would maintain law and order and collect revenue from that particular place. And then during a period of Iltutmish, he issued silver coins or silver tangas and copper coins in the name of. Next is a very important Sultan in your Ilbari dynasty or with respect to your slave dynasty, that is your Balban. Look at this. The elite of 40 or the 40 was eliminated during the Balban because they were the one who were questioning the superiority of your Sultan. So for this reason, he eliminated the concept of the 40 because he did not want anyone to question the authority of Sultan. Alright. Now, look at this. He separated finances from military and even in this military, he standardized the army. Why was the army standardization needed? One is there was a lot of internal rebellion. There was a lot of internal rebellion in the form of a Turkish nobles, in the form of the 40, right? Alongside that, to deal with external invasions. External invasions in the name of your Mongol attacks. Alright? Now, look at this. He deployed army in different portions of the dynasty. Alright? Now, look at this. Restoration of law and order was a very important aspect for Balban. How was he trying to do that? He had to make the road safe, travel safe. Okay, now which means the robbers, okay, had to be put under your harsh rigorous punishments. Okay, that applied for majority of the cases. Law and order was very important for your Balban. Okay, now one more thing is he called himself the caliph's right hand man, and also one such people who were there during the period of Balban was your ulemas. Okay, he strictly wanted them to confine the ulemas to religious perspective rather than enter into political affairs. All right. Now, the policy he followed was called as blood and iron, which means it was very stern, it was very strict, and also he had established good amount of spy system to find out if there was any rebellions going on, if there was any plots to bring down the Sultan going on. Alright? Now, look at this. In the military hierarchy, the Sultan was considered the head of the state. Even the Iqta system, right, which was followed by Iltutmish, it still continued here also. Alright? Look at this. Iqtas were controlled by your Iqtadar Nazim Mukhtar Wali. Okay, land distribution and administration system continued as it was in the period of your Iltutmish period of time. Okay, now even when appointing the Iqtadars to look after the Iqta, it was based on a certain qualification. Alright, now there was one person appointed to oversee Iqtadar. Why? Because to see whether his office or authority is legitimate, and also is he carrying out his work, okay, as per the way he is supposed to. So there was a sense of accountability. Okay, quasas were there to look after your work of Iqtadars. Alright, next, as we have spoken, the army was standardized and was used for two purposes. What was that? Internal rebellion, external invasions. Also your Ustadar was the one who would look after, okay, Sultan's personal things, as well as he was the chief of staff of your Sultan. Now let's look into the army. Okay, the army was divided into three parts. One is the royal Mamluks, another is the emir soldiers, non-Mamluk soldiers, or your Halka. So now with respect to royal Mamluks, they were the ones which were pretty much important. They were directly under the command of your Sultan, and they used to provide personal, okay, security for the Sultan. They were in the ranking, if you would see, they ranked highest. Next comes your emir soldiers, or somewhere your private soldiers, okay, where emirs would maintain the soldiers, okay. If the Sultan wanted soldiers in a particular place or a particular area, he could deploy them. More like a private army. Then comes your non-Mamluk soldiers or Halka, who were somewhere a little bit lesser. Okay, the ranking goes like this. First place by your Mamluk, and then your emirs, and then comes your Halkas. Okay, in this Halka soldiers are the non-Mamluk soldiers who used to, okay, join the army or get recruited. Now again, if you see post the period of Balban period of time, people stopped getting recruited, which means the concept of Halka itself fell. Alright, so these people were also under your control of your Sultan. Sultan could use them as and when needed. Alright, your royal Mamluks are the army's highest ranking body. Then comes your emirs, then comes your Halkas. Alright, now if you would look at the administration system of your Mamluk dynasty, it was pretty much at that period of time, whatever administration was used to it, this Mamluk dynasty was a little bit different than that. Okay, but at the same point, if you have to summarize what was Mamluk dynasty, it was theocratic, military, and feudal in nature. Okay, that's it for the content on the administration part of your Mamluk dynasty. If you do like our content, subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it along with your friends. Thank you.